and welcome to my workshop. Over the years I've seen many comments regarding, well, the equipment that I have, and a lot of you were saying, oh, we can't afford equipment like that, table saws or whatever. Over the years I have actually provided videos for cheaper alternatives. So if you go to my YouTube channel homepage and scroll down, you'll see that over the years I've made cabinets, benches, and I set a table saw into my workbench as well, and even lathes for under $150, and all sorts of other things. I've decided to do a little course on how you can make your own tooling, or altering, modifying tooling that you can get off the shelf to do another or better job. These tools, I've just gone to my local hardware store. I'll pull their page up. Now it's in Australia, so it's Bunnings. You know, they're very good for well, handyman and contractors, tooling and supplies. Really, there's no real competition, which allows them to buy in tools en masse and you know, sell at pretty good prices. So what I've done is I haven't actually picked the cheapest. Now the cheapest one is here. All right, now I'm talking about a circular saw, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this pretty ordinary circular saw into a bench saw, because a bench saw you can do a lot more work with. You can run a fence on it, you know, you can run jigs on it, and you can't really do the same sort of work with just an ordinary saw. So what I'm going to do is show you how to modify this into a table bench saw, and you can see I've got it this morning and paid $59 for it. And I bought a switch as well and a lead. And I've got some odd materials around here that I can actually build the bench for it, the small enclosure for it. So this is going to be built for, shall we say, less than $80. And you can do this at home. When I've built this, I am going to show you how to make a drill press. Now I'll fetch one over that I always use, actually, and I find it very handy, and I use it more than I do my large machinery drill press. I'll just go and get it. This drill press I have had for more than 30 years. And it's a standard, in this case it's a Bosch corded drill, and it's mounted in a pretty solid framework, and it has a spring-loaded sort of rise and fall carriage that enables you to use it as a drill press. And like I say, I use this more often than anything. It's very handy. You can just put it on your bench and use it. It's quite strong. Does a very straight drilling, and I use it for most things. So what I'm going to do for the next project, which will be the next video, is, and again, I've gone and bought this one here, $49. Here it is. It's let me see. It's a 710 watt, and it's a 13 millimeter, you know, chuck. So it's very, very handy. It's the same size as this, in fact. So what I'm going to do with the table saw that we build, I am going to make one of these out of hardwood and ply and MDF and a bit of oak as well, because I'm going to use oak for a central pillar system for it. And also I've got some cheap 300mm action, so that's about a foot, but 12 inches, draw runners, substantial draw runners. Now I've got 4 of these, so I'm going to mount the carriage system then on the main pillar with these, which gives a very smooth action and a very accurate one as well. So so the first video is going to be making the circular saw. Nearly all of this video is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll just come in every now and again and do a little bit of explanation if it's required. And so what I'm actually doing here is I'm removing the safety shield. Now if you do this, you obviously do this at your own risk. You know, I can't be, it's what I'm doing, so you don't have to copy me. So what I'm doing here, I'm just cutting at the 2 sides actually, and the both ends I use 18mm ply actually. And this is the top. I've made it 500 by 500 millimeters, and it's 8 millimeters in thickness. What I'm doing here is I've just marked out 3 screw holes just on one edge, and from that I can use it as a template to drill all the other holes for all the other parts. So then they become well, not only interchangeable, but they're all in the same spot. So you know, it doesn't really matter which piece goes where, because all the screws are identical. Now the next phase, what I've done is I've set the chassis or the box out on the top, and I'm measuring to see whether I've got enough area between the actual motor and the in-draw, where the intake for the air is for the fan. And I was trying actually to get the blade right in the center of everything, which I managed. And I screw through the steel plate, then the old steel plate, and use that as a template to screw through the wood. Then I use cheesehead screws, which, you know, what I was doing then was making a countersink, and so the heads of the screws don't interrupt material that is going over top of the saw.
Come on, brave fellow, prove your yourself worthy of the name of a British soldier. Then in 1809 came the White Mutiny. My fellow officers, we fought the Dragoon Cavalry. I was court-martialed, dishonorably discharged, with no pension after 30 years fighting for king and country.
So, having assembled the saw on the underside of the bed, I put the blade back on, and in a minute you'll see me actually cut through. I'm just going to do it now, actually. Cut right through and lock it up there, and then put the tabletop in position, and actually put it on hinges so it's easy to lift the top up and alter the depth of the saw.
So I bought the hope with some money I'd saved, a vessel trade in sugar and in slaves. Rusted and leaking, we fixed her back again. Plan 2 set sail.
So what I elected to do was put a mains power board switch, on-off switch, and plug into the wall, or into the back edge actually, that would be facing me when I'm passing material through, so it's easy for me to get to the on-off switch. And I use the original plug and lead and just plug into that, and what I got is an extension cord, and just cut the plug off and wired it into the into that household mains plug. And I've done this sort of thing before, and it works very well. It's very safe. But you know, you might have your own regulations, you know, in your part of the world where you may have to do something different. So I'm just checking to make sure everything works and everything is all nice and square, and I think I'd switch it on now. There you go. Just to make sure the switch works and everything works, and I just pass a bit of material through. I elected to make a very simple fence here out of MDF, and so I glued and screwed it and made sure it was all nice and square. And I just rely on Irwin clamps to clamp either end on the bed. And I've used this method before, and it works quite well actually. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm making 4 nice sturdy legs. There's a piece of Baltic pine that I had left over, and there was a crack up the middle of it, which I'm just cutting out now actually, and I'm just showing you there, look. And it made perfect legs, very, very sturdy legs. So they were screwed on very sturdy as well. And I elected to just screw them on because I thought, well, I might want to take the legs off and just put this on the bench. So I made it that I could take the legs off if I required. So I'm just setting up the fence here to do a test cut, and I just pass a bit of 16mm MDF through, and I think I'll show you on the video in a minute that it's very, very accurate actually, and it's a very, very nice cut. So there you are. It's a very presentable and very, very useful little table saw, and I hope you've liked the video. Okay, so there it is, fully operational. So what I'm going to do for the next video is I'm going to make a drill press, and I'll be using this to cut all the timber or lumber with it for this drill press project. So I hope you've liked. I'll just actually open this and show you how it operates, as I'm sure you already know that it's hinged so you can get at the depth of the saw. It's got a very simple fence on it, and it'll cut through about 3 inches. I'll just get something to measure with. Here we go. That's at 60mm. That's nearly 2.5 inches actually. 60mm, yeah, about 2.5 inches, which is fine. Really, from the original saw, we're only losing 8mm, which is about, let me see, about 3/8 of an inch, I think, something like that. 8mm, no it isn't, it's 5/16. So, thank you for watching, and if you've liked the video, please press like and subscribe to my channel. Pass it on to your friends if you think they'll be interested, because that's how the channel grows. And indeed, go to my channel. There's now, I've got 2 channels. You get to my second channel by the banner up on there, and on the channel you'll find shop jobs like this. I've actually made a lathe and a disc sander, and furniture and things like that, which I'm sure you might be interested in. CNC routing, lasers, CNC milling machines. I converted an entire ordinary manual mill to CNC, and I think I've done about 12 videos on that. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in. In about 2 days' time, I think I'll have the other one up. which should be hopefully your Sunday night. That's Sunday night in Europe and America, but if not, it'll be about Monday. So thank you for watching, and it's bye for now.